What's up, YouTube? Now, you see the title of this video, and you see the image that I have on the screen here. Now, I said I was going to do this video in my last video. I said I was going to make another video on Angryman because the tap dancing, I just like I said in past videos, man, I just feel like I need to call out the goofiness that these niggas in these spaces be doing, bro. Because the thing that bothers me, or I should say the thing that really kind of, it makes me cringe, man. The thing that makes me cringe with these individuals is like, and I really hate to use the word cringe, but it's just lack of a better term, right? These individuals like Angryman and Anton Daniels and then all of the Sambo class you see, and I guess we can throw Tommy in there. I just did a video on him in my last video, right? The thing with these Sambos, man, is that they are latching on to this right-wing narrative, or not narrative, but the right-wing party, the conservative party, the Republican Party. They're latching on to the ideology of it to the max. And I see a lack of critical thinking. I'm seeing a lack of any independent thought. All I'm seeing is dumbass niggas regurgitating what the right says. And that goes into the title of this video. You see, we are talking about this whole SNAP benefits nonsense. Now, I already made a video on that a while back when I was talking about the aftermath that could take place from SNAP benefits being gone and this and that. And recently they have, they've decided to release the benefits and whatnot. You see the government shutdown is getting wrapped up and whatnot. So because of that, this whole SNAP benefits debacle was kind of just going to subside. And I kind of figured this would happen. I didn't really think that it would go on too long, if I'm being honest. So I kind of just made a prediction on what could have happened if it really got to a very critical state. But I still want to make this video when it comes to like the discussions that were being had when it comes to the SNAP benefit stuff, because Sambos like Angryman and Sambos in general that are on the right side of the political sector. And before anyone comes in here and says that I'm on the left, no, I'm not on the left. I'm not a leftist. I don't rock with that either. It's kind of funny within this fake political system we got in this country. If you don't side with one party or the other, you're instantly going to get labeled the other side. So like if I'm talking about, things that I don't rock with on the right, you'll instantly get labeled a leftist. If I'm talking about things that I don't, if I'm talking about things that I don't like on the left, I'm going to instantly get labeled a right winger, right? And that's just kind of just what is kind of, it's just how this political stuff is set up in this country, man. You can, there's never really too many people that can say that they really are like center, in the center. They don't really give you that room. And even the people that claim to be in the center, if you notice, they often tilt to the right. The people that are like, oh, I'm on the center, it's like they're still like right. They're not even right center, right leaning. They're just full on the right, but they just masquerade as the center. There's a difference between being center left or center right, and then you're just masquerading. And a lot of people just masquerade, right? But the Sambo class that are on the right, they kind of make it hard for anybody to go over there. And that's even just taking away the whole thing with the racism on that side. You got a lot of Sambos getting their wake-up call, and they're dealing with a lot of issues over there because they finding out a lot of the people on that side are racist, which I don't see how they haven't seen it. It's either they've been engaging in cognitive dissonance or they've been just trying to ignore it, but it's getting too bad to where they can ignore anymore. But you notice you'll never see a Sambo like Angryman address the racism on the right, the Nazi shit going on over there. None of that, right? They're just gonna ignore it. And like I said, they regurgitate everything on the right. So when it comes to this SNAP benefit stuff, Angryman has been going around. I've seen videos of him recently where he's trying to make it seem like, SNAP benefits is not needed, and you got all these people scamming, and and they need to go and get a job, and stop being lazy, and this and that. And it's just crazy when I'm sitting back watching a nigga who does not understand how this shit works. Clearly Angryman does not understand how the SNAP system works, bro. This is why I got the image on the screen. Numbers, what are those? That's Angryman when he's trying to figure out how this shit works. He doesn't understand how to read numbers. I don't know what's wrong with this nigga. Right? Because let's just break it down, right? The position of this nigga Angryman from the shit I've been seeing, the videos I've been seeing of this goofy, is that, like I said, he's trying to position it as if all of these people that are on these benefits, they're just lazy. They need to go get a job. Now, what are we dealing with? Like I said, how they regurgitate all the shit on the right. We're dealing with the typical gaslight of go get a job, lift yourself up by the bootstraps. See, that type of argument can work in a functioning society, in a functioning system. But the only problem with that right now is the job market is cooked. The economy's cooked. Everything's fucked up. People are struggling to get jobs. And you have this repeated, regressive, dumbass mindset by those on the right, that keep saying this, go get a job, lift yourself up by the bootstraps. That shit doesn't work right now, bro. That shit doesn't work anymore, bro. Because the people don't have boots to even have straps on to lift up with. So I don't know what is up with you niggas, you Sambo niggas, and of course we know the white people on the right, you know how they're moving. They're racializing the whole SNAP shit. So they was making it like, oh yeah, the blacks, and that's the typical shit the elites do is since white people have a black obsession in this country, we can just they can take away all types of programs because they can just paint it as the blacks are living off the system with the welfare, all the typical shit. And these retarded dumbass white motherfuckers will go hook, line, and sinker, bro, and boom, program gone. That's how they've been doing this shit for the longest in this country, right? But anyway, the gaslight of go get a job and these individuals that are on these benefits, they're just lazy, they don't want to work, is not entirely accurate. Like I said, Angryman does not understand how the SNAP system works because I guess this nigga can't read. I don't know. When it comes to the SNAP system and how it operates, the SNAP system, there's reasons you're on these programs, right? What is the main reason you would end up on a welfare program like the SNAP system, right? What would be the reason you end up on a program? That program is allocated to those who are in impoverished positions, who are poor, right? So it is not necessarily entirely the case that you don't have a job on why you can end up on SNAP benefits. It can also be the case that you just have a job that pays such a low amount of money that you need more assistance to be able to keep yourself from, not starving to death. See, this is the type of shit that Sambo niggas like Angryman and others want to ignore. And you can make the argument, right after that is, oh, go get a better job. Well, once again, since the economy's fucked up, the job market's cooked, telling someone to go get a better job, quote unquote, is not necessarily how the world works. Right? That's not how the world works. I don't honestly how Angryman at his age does not understand this, but this is what happens when you are on the right, regurgitating the ideology of dumbass motherfuckers on the right. But just because, and see, this is a deeper psychology to it. I feel what I'm really analyzing with these individuals is that they just see the right as the side of the sophisticated whites with the suits on that are intelligent. So you just see a white man in a suit and you automatically associate that with intelligence, and you just regurgitate all the dumb shit and all the gaslights, and you don't critically think. This is what I mean by the nigga does not critically think. Just because a white man in a suit told you some dumb shit don't make it right, dumb nigga. This is what's wrong with niggas. When we have a society that's fucking cooked right now. You telling someone to go get a better job, it doesn't work like that. It's not how the world works. How do you go get a better job, quote unquote? There are ways to do that, right? Go get an education. You can take up a trade. What does that require? Money. So you would have to pay for college, right? And then let's say you want to go to college. Okay, well, how am I going to pay for college? You're going to need to take money out of what you already have to help pay for that. And you're already broke, right? You can try to get certain grants or certain programs, but they're trying to take all that shit away, right? And college costs way too much money as is. On top of that, other countries have it for free, but America, we used to have that, but white people fucked it up with the racism. But anyway, because of that, we're fucking cooked with the college shit. So you can go to college, you can go take up a trade. That still costs money. It's gonna be a little cheaper, but it still costs a good amount of money, bro. So it's not really that easy to just quote unquote go get a better job. Not to mention the simple fact that even if you get a job that would be somewhat decent paying, with the way the rent is, the way that the economy is, man, people are still damn near living paycheck to paycheck. And it's like, that's not a good way to live. And the whole system honestly needs to be reconstructed. But instead of addressing that, Angryman will sit up here and try to make it seem like the SNAP benefits is a bad thing for the people. The people already struggling. So we gonna just make it even more difficult for people in the society. That's what we gonna do. Really? This is what happens when a nigga has an elitist mindset because they got some money and now they think that they can sit on their ivory tower and try to feel like they're better than other people. That's what I read a lot of times when it comes to a nigga like Angryman. He's on some and I said this in one of my last videos on him. He's on a mission to become a Timu white man. And what I mean by a Timu white man is he wants to be the type of white man that is trying to sit on the ivory tower, the white man that does the gaslight, lift yourself up by your bootstraps. They're in a good position, so they just feel like, oh yeah, my tax dollars, them type of dumb arguments, right? And they don't give a fuck about other people's hardships. They don't even know anything about how the system is functioning because they've been shielded from it because of their position. And Angryman is on his ambitions to become a Timu white man. He wants to emulate that same retarded, regressive mindset. And this is how we've gotten to this point in this country in the first place. Dumbass niggas that instead of looking out for the entirety of the American people want to grandstand over others with their arbitrary currency. This is what's going on in this country right now. That's one of the issues why this shit's crumbling. And trying to get rid of programs that are really, in some cases, just to barely keep people afloat is not going to help the stability of this country, bro. When you're running around trying to say SNAP benefits, we need to take that away because these people need to go get a better job, this and that. They're just living off the system and the tax dollars and all this dumb shit. Like I said in my first video on this topic of the SNAP benefits, are there people that are scamming the system? Of course, there's people that scamming the system. Of course. I mean, hell, there's videos we can go look up where people are just blatantly saying that they're scamming the system because they're retarded. I don't know why you putting that out there, but a lot of these niggas is dumb, so they just put all the shit out there. There's people that are gonna scam the system, no doubt, and it ain't just black people; it's white people too scamming the system. There's more white people on it anyway, and you don't try to sit up here and act like out of all them big numbers there ain't one white person in there scamming the system. Of course there is. Everybody's doing it, but like I said in that video, just because someone's scamming the system, are you going to go ahead and just get rid of the entire system now because there's a subset of people that are scamming it? No, because there's no way to 100% try to get rid of fraud. There's no way you can't just say because there's people doing they're mishandling the way they should be using it. Just because they're doing that, then we need to just get rid of it entirely. By that same logic, that means we should get rid of cars because there's people that like to speed in them and crash and the people getting deleted because of that. By that same logic, we should get rid of computers. The computers that niggas use every day. We should get rid of technology, computers, and all that because there's somebody right now as I'm speaking, probably on their computer scamming somebody out of hundreds, even maybe even thousands of dollars right now. Someone's getting scammed. So people will use any program, anything to engage in nefarious actions. That doesn't mean you get rid of the whole system. That means you try to at least mitigate the problems with it. So getting rid of SNAP benefits or welfare entirely is not a good thing to do, especially with the way this economy is set up. If we had a more robust system going on, then yeah, maybe. But nah, bro, this ain't the time to be saying dumb shit like that. And the elites are laughing at you dummies when y'all say this. You're just opening the door for them to take more programs. This is like I said in the other video. You're just opening the door for more programs to be relinquished. Right? So you don't get rid of a program that's meant to help people in their and when they're down on their luck. You can at least try to mitigate the fraud, but don't get rid of the system entirely. I mean, this is just common sense, but like I said, niggas, I don't know, this nigga Angryman, he's on his ambitions to be a Timu white man, so this is what he's gonna do. And the nigga, you know, he sits up on his shit, and I saw a video a while back where he's up there, you know, just riding Trump's meat. You know, you see the thumbnail, bro. This nigga can't get off Trump dick, bro. Like, all you Trump meat riders, y'all need to let this nigga meat breathe, bro. Cause he don't give a fuck about you niggas, bro. I just want y'all to know that. Let his meat breathe, all right? You know what I'm saying? Get up off your knees. I know them bitches got to be bruised to get up off your knees and stop serving this man, bro. Like, real shit. Okay? Real shit. Y'all weird as fuck. And another thing when it comes to the SNAP benefits, the misinformation I've been seeing that I don't think I addressed it in my first video, but you know, you got the whole thing where people were trying to make it seem like, and this nigga Angryman did the same thing, trying to make it seem like it's immigrants taking up all the SNAP benefits, illegal immigrants. And, you know, you had a chart that was out there where they were trying to say that, oh, it's these other immigrants using up all the SNAP benefits. And, you know, just another example of motherfuckers can't read. They don't know how to read numbers. They don't understand stats and percentages. So I'm gonna read off some of the stats that people were pushing. I'm sure maybe some of y'all have seen the chart. I'm gonna read from the chart though. I'm gonna pull this up on my end. I'm gonna read off some of these stats when it comes to this chart. There was a chart where it was like food stamps by ethnicity, right? And you had Afghans at number one at 45.6%. You had Somalis at 42.4%. You had Iraqis at 34.8%. You had Dominicans at 34.4%. Caribbeans 28.2%. And you just go on and on down the list, and you got all these different groups. Now, what goofies were doing with that chart was that they were looking at those numbers, and they were basically saying that, oh, look, the top people on this list are not even Americans, and you got all these other groups, these other people from other countries on here. You got Afghans at 45% whoop de whoop, and I'm like, bruh, this is what I mean. American people, you know, a lot of these people are stupid, bro. They're just dumb. That's not what that's saying. When you look at that number, when it comes to Afghans, that's not saying that the majority of people on SNAP is Afghans. That's not numerically possible because the majority of people in this country are not Afghans. The majority of people that are on SNAP benefits are white. That's just the reality. That's the majority of people that are on it. And it's funny because these people like to talk about per capita, but I guess they just kind of forget when it's convenient. When you look at that Afghan number, you're looking at a percentage within a percentage, right? So the Afghan number, you have to take the amount of Afghans, and it's within that number of Afghans that those are the ones that is on the SNAP benefits. That's what that percentage, that's what that number is. It's not saying that the majority of Afghans on it It's saying out of the number of Afghans, that's the amount that are on those benefits. Right. And it makes sense for Afghans to be so high on that list, considering the fact that what happened recently when it comes to Middle East conflicts, right? Afghanistan being decimated. You had a lot of people, a good amount of refugees or whatnot, people from Afghanistan that came over here, right? They're gonna probably end up getting on the programs. They're gonna come over here and be downtrodden for a while or something, right? So you're gonna have a good amount of Afghans over there that are gonna come over, and they're going to be in a position where they're going to need those benefits, right? That's not saying that the majority of people on those benefits are not Americans. That's just those are percentages within percentages. But because niggas can't read numbers, they all here running around trying to say that it's mostly illegals on SNAP benefits, bro. It's really insane, bro. It's really insane. But yeah, man, I just this goofiness, bro, with all of this tap dancing, all of this regurgitating of the stuff that's on the right. These Sambos, man, and I got a separate video on the wake up calls that these Sambos is getting when it comes to what's going on the right. And before I even get into that, I'm not up here trying to 100%, cape for people that's on SNAP benefits and shit, like stuff like that. Because there are some individuals that honestly, there's a like when it comes to a lot of the the people who take advantage of those programs and are trying to finesse the system. Yeah, man, they're gonna, hey man, that just is what it is for some of them, bro. Like I'm not even trying to hear no complaints for them. But for the people that actually genuinely do need those programs, bro. Yeah, bro, you can't just be saying just get rid of the program completely and gaslight them and tell them to go get a job. That's just kind of goofy, bro. Especially when this entire system is fucked up right now, right? But back to what I was saying, right? The Sambos, man, they're getting the wake up calls, right? They're getting the wake up calls, and you not seeing none of these Sambos really address all the goofiness that's going on the right now, right? You don't see Angryman addressing how you got all of these Nazis on the right and they're just becoming more and more emboldened. You don't see Angryman talking about Nick Fuentes and his scene getting into the right and getting on with Tucker Carlson and all the racism over there. And they want to sit up here and tell niggas who are on the left, even though I don't agree with the left, they want to sit up there and look at them and be like, oh, why ain't y'all on the right? That's like, bro, do you see your party, bro? Do you see the racism over there? Do you see the degeneracy on that party? Why they claim to be moral and all that? Do you see the shit going on? Yeah, it's kind of hard for you to look at, even though the left, I do not agree with a lot of goofiness they be on, bro. It is hard for you to sit up and try to lambaste niggas on the left on why they not on the right. It's disingenuous considering the goofiness that's going on with that party right now, bro. And the introduction of all the just more racism. Now we bringing in full on neo-Nazis into the party. You just going to the extra mile. But Sambo niggas like Angryman will not address that, and he will continue to get in you niggas. He will continue to get in you niggas' faces and tell y'all why y'all not on the right, and that the left is evil and all this, when the right is literally housing neo-Nazis, bro. Like fuck out, bro. Get the fuck out of niggas' faces, bro. Like for real, bro. Y'all need to really do some introspection, bro. Cause like it's really getting goofy, bro. It's getting too goofy for y'all to be doing this shit, bro. But yeah, man, this nigga Angryman is on a mission to become a Timu white man, bro. All he's missing right now is them Oakley glasses, bro. He already got the, what type of white dudes I'm talking about. Like the typical right winger that's like, he has the Oakley glasses, he has the extended belly, and he has like a hat on and shit. Like all Angryman needs is them Oakley glasses, bro. He already got the nigga out of shape. He already got that going. The nigga's logic is all fucked up. He already got that going. All he needs is them Oakley glasses, bro, and he will have completed the Timu white man trifecta, bro. That's all the nigga needs, bro. That's all that nigga needs, bro. So somebody get that nigga some Oakley glasses, bro. He'll be right on with him, bro. But yeah, man. I do got my Nick Fuentes video coming, my full on evisceration of him. That's gonna be a lot of stuff in there, breaking down information on history, going into a lot of stuff, bro. He's definitely an agent for sure, right? And I do have a video coming, another video that's on another level for those who watch me that understand things when it comes to the occult, like gematria. I have a decode coming down the line on Battlefield 3, the video game, and Star Wars, bro. That's gonna be a real deep one. I might have to do multiple parts for Star Wars. But besides all that, bro, yeah, the Nick Fuentes video is definitely a high priority though too. So I'm gonna get that out there. Yeah, the right is cooked, bro. I just want you to understand this. The right is cooked. It is being completely dismantled before your eyes. The right is cooked. I mean, it is what it is. And if nobody calls out the goofiness and the Sambos like Angryman keep ignoring it, y'all can't keep telling people that the left is the evil side. No, the right is the one with the neo-Nazis, bro. Y'all the ones that have people advocating for Geno and entire groups. You can't get in nobody's face talking about the left all day when you got that going on, bro. It's just not gonna work. But yeah, man, that's all I gotta say for this video, man. I'm out. My bad, bro. I almost forgot one more thing, bro. Because I gotta add this part too. This is a very important addition to this topic when it comes to SNAP benefits. You can't have a society right now where people are struggling to get jobs, pay rent, the housing market's fucked, all this other shit. You can't have a society like this and then sit up in people's faces and tell them that you about to relinquish programs that's only going to make things even harder. And then when that shit happens, the crime rate increases and you running around talking about why is the crime up. You can't do that, bro. You can't. You're just completely opening the door for issues, right? You got a nigga like Angryman trying to say, "Oh, get rid of the whole program," and doing all these gaslights. Nobody's about to be running around this motherfucker starving, bro. What's going to happen is niggas is going to crash out, and it's regardless of race. White people, black people are going to crash out, and you're going to see an uptick in crime, and you're going to see. And see what happens with people like Angryman and all these other elitist niggas is that they want to run around and push this narrative. And then when the shit gets to their front door, then they going to have a problem, right? When you got someone kicking through, a nigga like Angryman, right? And see, a nigga like Angryman, if all this shit was to go into fruition, he would deserve what I'm about to describe, right? Because what's going to happen is you're going to have people that's starving and they going to need to survive. What are they going to do? They're going to start robbing. They're going to start doing everything. They're going to start stealing, doing everything to survive. And they even going to go as far as engaging in home invasions and shit. So then you're going to have someone kicking through a nigga like Angryman's door, barging through that shit. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be kicking through that motherfucking front door.
Coming through the front door, so ain't no need to law the back. This ain't no strings attached, call me Lil Glizzy with a Mac. Bitch, I get crank mode. I need them Franklins like Punto. You know I fuck with Drake, but ain't no hoopers in Toronto. Coming through the front door, so ain't no need to law the back. This ain't no strings attached, call me Lil Glizzy with a Mac. Bitch, I get crank mode. I need them Franklins like Punto. You know I fuck with Drake, but ain't no hoopers in Toronto.
And then, yeah, bro, they gonna be raiding your shit. And all that could have been avoided if you would have just addressed the real problems in this country instead of gaslighting, so you could try to emulate being a Timu white man with Oakley glasses, bro. Just stop, bro. But that I just had to add that part, bro. That's all I gotta say for this video, man. I'm out.